I made a post a few months ago that talked about how I rebrand food for my toddler. And I said, motherhood is just like marketing. And so each phase of parenthood, I think, teaches you a little bit more, and it makes you a better marketer and it makes you a better parent. And it's like, it goes hand in hand. Marketing makes me a better mom and motherhood makes me a better marketer. I make sure to end my day when my child comes home from daycare. And so if I'm forced to say, okay, no, I'm going to take this and this because I have to do this due to I can't afford childcare, that's not filling my full cup.
I definitely did not realize how difficult it would be to juggle career and parenting.
Yeah, it's really tough. Find what makes you happy as a person. Layer that with being a mom, being an employee, being all that stuff. Don't lose yourself in the way, and it's really, really hard to do.
Hello everyone, this is Ekaterina with Trust Me Mom, and today my special guest is Nikki Ramirez.
Hi everyone, I'm super excited to be here.
I'm super excited that you came to my home studio today.
I know, I'm here in person.
That's right. And I know Nikki from our marketing profession.
Yes.
And recently you made big splash with your super fun viral post about how you applied marketing strategy to parenting.
Yes.
But before we go into that example, tell us a little bit more about your career journey and your life before being a mom and after.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I'm a journalist turned marketer, and now I'm a growth marketing specialist, specializing in healthcare. I am also a personal branding coach and a LinkedIn content creator.
Yes, and you
Lots
have
of
a very
things.
impressive resume. You spoke at TED. You used to lead marketing at Forbes.
Yes. I did a TEDx talk back in 2018. I was the director of marketing at Forbes for their accolades department, which is their lists. I've worked in multiple healthcare agencies and brands, and I've been all over the place.
And tell us about how things changed once you became a mom.
Oh, so much. One of the biggest things is I thought, I'll be a mom and it'll just fit into my life and I won't change at all. And how naive I was. And it just changes so much about, what you care about and how you go day to day and just everything about you. And have my second on the way. So it's just going to change again, I'm sure. And I think every day is just a new adventure. You watch this person become a whole human, and it's incredible.
Yes, so it sounds like that little human refused to eat some of the food, and you had a really genius strategy how to rebrand it. So tell us more about this example.
Yeah, so I've got a toddler, so he's a picky eater, as most toddlers are. And I made a post a few months ago that talked about how I rebrand food for my toddler. And I said, motherhood is just like marketing. My toddler hates fish but loves chicken. So when we have salmon, I call it beach chicken. And he says, yay, beach chicken. And he eats the whole thing. And I ended the post with, know your audience. And it took off. I posted that on a Saturday, went about my day, and by Sunday, it was a ripple effect across the internet. So I ended up on the Today Show and Newsweek, and it was in multiple platforms. I had colleagues and friends who are not on LinkedIn or follow me sharing my post and saying, hey, I saw you on X, formerly known as Twitter, and I saw you on Instagram, and someone did your whole post on TikTok. And it was just insane. And it just shows like how quickly something can really take off and truly go viral. And I had gone, quote unquote viral on LinkedIn before, where I had, over 500,000 views on a post. And I thought, oh, that's viral. You are not truly viral until the whole internet is talking about you and you are on, news articles across just everywhere. And it was pretty insane. And, some people were like, oh, it's controversial. Like, don't lie to your children. But a lot of parents and mothers especially were like, yeah, I do this all the time. Like, we get it.
Yeah. And it's much better start to go viral than this current event with the
Yes,
CEO.
I would much rather go viral for rebranding salmon for my child than the CEO and the chief people officer of Astronomer right now.
Right.
Yes.
And hello brands, if you are looking for help to rebrand and make it more
I got
digestible.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What other marketing tips can you apply to parenting?
Yeah, I think that there's so much that goes into business in general and being a mother or a parent. My negotiation skills are top notch now. I do this on a daily with my toddler. I think that, you're always rebranding and storytelling and rephrasing things to really get your toddler to stay alive and be a good parent. And so sometimes you just have to negotiate. You have to tell a different story to get them to do something. And I think that applies to marketing. It's really what I ended my post with, know your customer. And each stage of parenthood is different. Your 2-year-old's going to respond to things, but differently than your 4-year-old, than your 8-year-old, than your teenager. And so each phase of parenthood, I think, teaches you a little bit more, and it makes you a better marketer, and it makes you a better parent. And it's like it goes hand in hand. Marketing makes me a better mom, and motherhood makes me a better marketer.
It's very interesting because it also reminded me, I had an interview with a former executive at Verizon, and he had a diabetic daughter who was very young at that time, and taking care of his child helped him improve a lot of his work habits because of that discipline.
Yeah.
So I like this cross-pollination between the professional world and
it's discipline, it's empathy, it's all these things that go into, and it doesn't mean you're any less of a great marketer if you don't have kids. I just think that you bring a different kind of aspect and perspective to your career when you are a parent.
Yeah. So my channel is for parents, and how else can we inspire and maybe give some strategies and tips to working moms who are drowning in responsibility, where they want to do a good job at work as well as take care of the family? It's very different, and it feels like they're so time and energy deprived.
Yeah, I mean, you need to fill your cup with the things that make you whole first. Like, don't burn yourself out trying to do everything. What are the things that diversify your happiness, as I say? And you don't have to be a mom 100% of the time. You don't have to be a, employee 100% of the time. You find the different ways to just make things work. And if that one thing is taking up too much of your space and taking too much of your peace, you need to shift to try to fill those things with other ways. So, one of the things that I really do is I make sure to end my day when my child comes home from daycare. I'm not taking other meetings. Like, it's, you can't do it every single day, but I really, really try to say, okay, this is closed laptop. I'm spending time with my son. If I have something I need to get to, I can do it after bedtime. I really want to spend this time having dinner, no phones at the table, no, distractions. It's so important to take that time, making sure that you are not overwhelming yourself.
Right. Yes. What is your take on? I know you're a passionate advocate for moms.
Yes.
So share a little bit more of your advocacy and your work, because a lot of us do feel, especially in the United States, it's one of those amazing, highly developed countries with really small, short maternity leave.
Yes.
And it's very challenging for many moms.
It is. And that's why I'm a part of Chamber of Mothers. There's local chapters across the United States, almost in every state. I was a part of it when I was in Austin and now here in Pittsburgh. And we have 3 pillars that we really concentrate on: maternal health, affordable childcare, and paid maternity leave, paid parental leave in general for all parents. And it is something that the United States really struggles with, keeping up with the rest of the world on, really supporting mothers and parents in this journey of, figuring out when you don't just have the baby and then go, okay, take it to daycare and then we're fine and we're back to work. You change as a whole person after you have your kid. You want to spend that time really nurturing that relationship, figuring out who you are now after all of this. And I feel that we don't have enough time to do that. And then we're just thrown back into work, and there needs to be a better way. And so I'm a big advocate for not only having that paid time, but also when you come back to work, this kind of phased approach to it. Not all of us can take off, if we even get it, if we are privileged enough to have this 12 weeks, which I still don't even think is enough, but that's another fight for another day. And then going, okay, you're back at your job, go. Like everything's fine, nothing's changed. You haven't been gone for 12 weeks and you're not a whole new person. And I feel that, there should be a phased approach to, okay, you're going to come in, a quarter of the time, and then a half of the time, and then 3/4 of the time. And now you're back to work full time. There needs to be a way to really support mothers coming back into work. And then on top of that is the affordable childcare. I mean, I'm having my second kid and going, oh my gosh, I've got a whole paycheck going to childcare for 2 kids in daycare. And it's the reason so many parents have no choice in, okay, one of us is going to stay home. And that might not be what was wanted. And then that's not filling your whole cup. Now you have to change your whole life. And if you want to stay home and you want to be a full-time mom, that is incredible. Fill your cup with what you want to do. But so many of us, as like us, we're very, high achieving, like ambitious women who love our career that we're in. And so we go, okay, we want to keep doing this. And we want to bring our full selves. And filling my cup for me is the LinkedIn content creation and a little bit of my job and working with people and mentoring and my advocacy and being a mom. It fills my cup that way. And so if I'm forced to say, okay, no, I'm going to take this and this because I have to do this due to I can't afford childcare, that's not filling my full cup.
Yes, there's a lot of resentment sprouting from that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and I also noticed that often we as moms tend to be such fantastic caregivers that we're dissolving ourselves in taking care of kids, in marriage, and over time, it can take 10, 20 years. Then there is that missed opportunity where there wasn't a chance to really invest in your own business or your career, something that is outside of family, but because kids are so demanding, you naturally go and give, and then you dissolve, and then at the end, it's very hard to rebuild that legacy that you could have built with your career or with something that's important to you, maybe your big hobby.
Yeah.
And there's a missed opportunity.
People will say, well, just take a few years off and raise the kids until they're in elementary school. And I'm like, do you realize that, one, are men asked to do that and take, away for 4 years of their career and just take a break for a little bit and then come back? But second of all, that's really harmful. Getting back into the workforce and everything, we're asked, what was this time? And unfortunately, it's looked at as negative. Hey, well, I took time to be a full-time mom during that thing. And I think tides are changing, and I'm really appreciative for that people are understanding. But so many times they go, well, you took 4 years off. Are you up with all the latest things? Or, where are your priorities and all this stuff? So it can harm you long-term doing that. And there are ways to handle that and ways that you can do that, take the time off, come back into the career. But if that's not what you want to do, you shouldn't have to be forced to do it because we're not supported.
Yeah, I think most of it is education for younger women who need to make more conscious choice once they become moms, because I definitely did not realize how difficult it would be to juggle career and parenting.
Yeah, it's really tough.
Yes, and also if you have a special needs child, that's the next level of complexity. And on one hand, that's wonderful that people procreate being naive.
100%. I think that if we all knew what we were getting ourselves into, 50% of us would opt out. And so you kind of have to be a little naive of what you're getting into. Like I said at the beginning, I thought, oh, I'm just going to be a mom, and this kid is just going to fit into my lifestyle. Not the case at all. Like, you have to change and it changes you. And I like who I've changed into, and it's wonderful. But you do go, okay, I used to be I could work until 7 p.m. at night and it was fine and I could do all this stuff. And yeah, I had my relationship and all this stuff, but yeah, we'll catch up on the weekends and things like that. Now I want to spend time closing my laptop at 5:30 and, spending time with my family and being a mom. And that can be really tough to try to balance.
Do you notice that now you have less energy to organize a social event or a party, but that was such an important part
Yes.
of your life before. So what I'm noticing is I'm so tired where I'm prioritizing my family and my work. And then when it comes to building new friendships or even gathering friends, they're receptive, but I need to make that first step. And then sometimes schedules don't align or a
Yeah,
child
that
gets
was
sick.
probably my biggest change. I was such a social butterfly, and I was a like planner of events and girl dinners and like different social things, going boating on the weekends and all stuff. I have no desire to really do a lot of that anymore. And I kind of have to go, no, you should really go spend time with your friends. You should really do this. You should fill that part of your cup. But it has been so deprioritized for me. And I'm trying to, wrap my head around, is this a good thing for me or is this a bad thing for me? Is this just who I am now? I'm more of an introvert than I used to be, or is it because I'm just so tired at the end of the day from working and being a mom? And like I said, that's, where I thought, oh, I'll never change. I'm always going to be like this. Like kids will just fit into this natural thing. Like I love to host barbecues and I do this and I do that. And I just don't have the energy to do it anymore.
Yeah. Well, hopefully you'll regain
Yeah.
energy in a few years. And how did your husband react to these changes? Was it obviously a lot of our husbands are very supportive, but then it's my sense that there was that creative spark when you could spend a few hours getting
Yeah.
ready for a date.
Mhm.
Now you have a babysitter. You need
We're
to
on
get
a time
ready.
limit. Yeah. I'm very lucky to have a very supportive and adaptable husband, and he's very go with the flow, which is why we've always worked really well, because I'm not a go with the flow person. I'm a planner. And I need someone who can just, be okay, I'm going with this. Like, when we go on trips, I'm the person that's got everything down to an itinerary. So he's really flown with it. But yeah, I mean, we haven't had as much, one-on-one time with each other. Especially now I'm pregnant. Like I'm tired at 7:30 at night, like after working all day, growing a human, taking care of a human. I know that I'm not making as much time for our relationship. And I try to keep that in mind and go, okay, like, should we have a movie night tonight? I adapt to like, okay, we might not be going out and like, I might be too tired for dinner, but let's at least like have some snacks and watch a movie.
Yeah.
Until my pregnant self falls asleep 10 minutes in.
So any final closing thoughts or recommendations for other fellow moms?
So much. I mean, you need to keep your identity when you become a mom, and finding who you are without giving your whole self away is such an important thing. Find what makes you happy as a person, and then layer that with being a mom, being an employee, being all that stuff. Don't lose yourself in the way. And it's really, really hard to do, but really try to fill your cup with what makes you happy. Diversify that happiness in the different ways that make you happy. Don't give up on, your hobbies and your passions just because you feel that you're taking too much time away, because when your cup is filled, you can fill other people's cups. One of the biggest things I say is like when a plane is going over their safety hazards, they tell you put your oxygen mask on first, then take care of others. Think of that in your everyday. You need to do what makes you happy first, and don't feel guilty about that, because then you are your full self and it will reflect on your kids. Because if you're not happy, they can tell, and it just trickles down.
Yes, and then they take that model and in their future relationships, if they become parents, they'll do the same. So it's good to set the positive example now.
I love being a marketer. I love doing content creation. So I fill that part of my cup, and then I'm happy to, do all this stuff. But I have to set those boundaries and go, okay, well, now I'm done working and now I'm a mom, and try not to feel guilty that these are different things that I like to do, and I'm also a mom.
Well, thank you so much for your advice.
Yeah, absolutely.